success rate, and so this opportunity is to give the best resources we know to double the chances of quitting. But we also know that women struggle differently than men with tobacco. It's like we have a relationship with that cigarette. And that speaks volumes, and the message I would say is, you're not alone.
Right.
When you think that I'm the only one that is having this struggle and I just can't do it, don't give up. Don't give up. Keep trying. The chances are you'll be successful.
I remember back when they used to have commercials on TV. I don't think they do that anymore, right? They don't have commercials
They
on
are
TV?
not allowed to
I don't
have.
think
They're not
so,
allowed
that's
to,
right.
right.
So I remember back though, it always seemed sort of sexy for the woman to have the cigarette
We
between her
just
fingers.
had that
and-
conversation 2 days ago.
What is this?
It's bad.
Yep.
It used to be physicians used to advertise for tobacco companies, and they would try to sell the smokes. Then they came out with the low tar, low
Yep.
nicotine, and we women said, oh, thank goodness,
Goodness.
because I can't quit, but this way I know I'm doing something good.
Right.
They're actually worse.
Yeah.
They're actually worse. African American community was targeted with menthol cigarettes.
Menthol,
Right,
very
remember
big.
that.
And that was huge way back when.
Yeah.
We had Reverend Jesse Brown down in Philly and his team that drove out the Uptown cigarettes that were being tried in Philadelphia. And of course, the menthol cigarette allows you to cool your throat to inhale more deeply.
Oh, wow.
So this is just this is a product used as directed can kill you.
Right.
And the message needs to be, we can stop that. Together we can make a difference and we can help the people who are using tobacco today.
Exactly.
But with your theme slogan there, okay, which is really wonderful, you said quit for love.
Yep.
Is that just love for yourself, but love everyone around you, because in
Exactly.
the secondhand smoke too.
gonna say the same
Exactly.
thing.
And that's another big issue.
Exactly.
We know more and more
Yeah.
about secondhand smoke
Right.
and the impact that has. That they've done studies now where they went smoke-free in cities and non-smokers. The heart attack rate went down in non-smokers. That's a huge message. Now they're even talking about third-hand smoke, which is the residue that is left on your clothing, on your skin, that you carry and you pick up that baby. There's an impact with that.
Exactly.
So we like to bring that message, especially around secondhand smoke. The Department of Health does other programs. In injury prevention, we help people get car seats installed safely in their car. We've partnered with them to get the message, your child is safe in this car seat. Please don't smoke in your car. Please don't smoke in your car. So all of this links together, the smoking ban and the opportunity to help tobacco users go tobacco free.
You're a little bit younger than the rest of us sitting here, Brandy.
Just
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So tell us about, when you see young people your age now, I mean, they're out, and they, get together. Do you see more people smoking or not smoking, just based on your experience?
I think from my own experience and from what I'm seeing, I think we're a little bit more conscious about our health now, a little more mindful of things that can impact us and harm us. And several of us are at points where we are young parents, so we're thinking, if we're doing this to ourselves, what are we doing to our children?
Sure.
So we're really trying to take that approach with things. So you are seeing a difference there, but I think it's the mindset of where young people are right now in life, in that we want to live forever, and we are seeing through reality that that's not always the case.
Do you find a difference of, I know your education has been very important to you and your husband. Do you find a difference of those who are a little bit more educated and this and that and think about health issues as opposed to those who are just kind of at the clubs, hanging out, What do you think?
I think education has some role with it. I think other pieces of it is just your environment and what you're seeing. So even if you are doing something that may not be the healthiest, when you get hit with the reality of death or tragedy facing you, that kind of changes your outlook. And you do start saying, I've got to be here, if not just for myself, I've got to be here for that little person who's depending on me to make sure I'm there to pick them up after school or there to do that homework. So I think our generation is just being a little bit more health conscious because we're having to deal with more physically. I know in speaking to someone some time ago when I was pregnant with my first child, and she said, I remember my mother telling me she smoked when she carried me because no one said it was an issue. And she said, here you are now, you're not even letting anyone smoke, be around you while you're pregnant. And how is that changing? But I think we know so much more now because the studies are taking place. And what we're finding, tobacco-related illnesses are the #1 preventable diseases out there. People don't have to die from tobacco-related disease and issues if they stop smoking. They're not looking at the fact that you can have cancer impacts, you can have breathing impacts such as asthma, emphysema, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. There are a ton of things. Thank you, diabetes. There are a ton of things that can impact you from smoking. So I think now we're really looking and saying, what do we need to do to be here longer? What do we need to do to maybe support our parents, support our children, support our spouses, and just trying to be healthier?
Well, you know, it's interesting. We were talking about this whole piece in regard to cigarettes, actually kind of the gateway drug. If you find folks get into other substance use, usually they started out, as you say, under 18 with the cigarette, and even when sometimes individuals are involved with other substances and they are in recovery, the first thing they'll go to, if they weren't smoking, they start smoking. And that's kind of disheartening because I know I've seen in a number of facilities and places when they'll come outside during a break and everyone's huddled together, just smoking, just chain smoking, and all those toxins and everything that are coming out. What have you observed or noticed as to what we can do to assist and help support those in recovery?
And you know, there's more interest nationally that there are some places where there are rehab centers now where they have actually banned tobacco use, and they consider it as part of the addiction treatment process. And so they work very diligently to end that addiction as well as they're working with drug and alcohol addictions.
When I was growing up, what do you call that? The snuff? Is that what they used to call it?
Oh, yes.
Tobacco? I don't see that as much anymore, but I understand it's still very popular. Is that true?
It's gotten very popular, and now there's a spit list called snus,
Yep.
which is just something, another little delivery system. Think of that.
Oh my goodness.
You do not have to spit, you keep it in your mouth, and there's nicotine in that. That is a constant delivery system as well.
So you never spit it out?
You
got
never
dissolved or swallow it or whatever?
Don't like talking about it.
I don't want to talk about that.
You know, because
you don't think of the
you don't
impacts.
spit it out.
I mean,
And
we've seen
it's-
photos with people who've had mouth cancer from using products such as these.
And you know, you raised an interesting question. Again, the tobacco industry, several years ago, we discovered they were starting to target our kids 18 to 24, especially those who were in higher education, in college. And they were having parties, providing them with the product, and kids who had never smoked before started smoking, and the ones who didn't were carrying lighters to be a part of. So they were changing the social norm. Yes. So we launched a program on campuses to energize. There's nothing better than to engage with youth and young adults. They are not impacted like we are. They don't have any problem talking about the dangers. Well, actually, they do have a problem with that because from kindergarten to 5th grade, we do a great job teaching kids about the dangers. You can take a teen off the street today, they will recite to you exactly what tobacco use can do. However, when they hit those teen years, out come all those risky behaviors. I want to be a man, I want to grow up, I want to do this. And they get lured into, through peer pressure, to start up. But what they don't like, and what we've done with our that age group, is to teach them, to show them, to educate them what the tobacco industry thinks of them. They don't like that they are being lied to. They don't like it that they're targeted to be those replacement smokers, and they speak out about it. And it's a wonderful message to carry to policymakers, to educators, that teens know, and they're not afraid to talk about it.
Good stuff.
Well, you know, it's interesting. We're talking about social norms, and we talked about earlier about how one time, you know, the lady with the cigarette looked sexy, and it looked like it could be exciting, and you know, be a way to maybe gain, you know, social relationships and things. But there was a period when you smoked, and it wasn't invisible. It was very visible. I mean, you would see news anchors when recording here at this TV station. They'd be sitting there lighting a cigarette, and they're delivering the news, and it was just, you know, something folks did. And then that kind of all went away. And then about 10 or less years ago, movies started picking up.
Absolutely.
And this whole, talk about that, because all of a sudden you start seeing
Absolutely.
it again.
That's been, especially in the West Coast, that's been on the radar for a long time.
Yes.
They've started to make some inroads and to really say this is wrong.
Right.
You are
Yes.
messaging our kids.
Yes.
It has to stop. So there has been some inroads in it. The awareness, there's awareness campaigns, and there's been some impact. But you're right. It's amazing how many places
Right.
Yeah.
where that opportunity, because the tobacco industry can no longer use billboards,
Right.
but
yeah.
go to a convenience